Hello. Welcome to my huge channel. So I've been trying to record a video again for a few days, and nothing's been really clicking as I talk. I'm a perfume channel, and I've been talking, and I was trying to talk about my perfume. Après L'Onde by Guerlain, Serge Vuitton's Amber Sultan, and my trusty and true Grand Amour by Aniquotal, and how they were bringing me comfort at a time when I needed comfort because I lost my job here a couple months ago, and I've been devastated, blah blah blah, and depressed, and blah blah blah, and how the perfume's a reflection of my inner turmoil. And I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. I mean, I do. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that I have been getting in contact with my inner physical being by being attracted to perfumes, which I didn't realize my perfumes affected me emotionally. Maybe I did. I don't remember anymore. But as I'm saying all this, the thing that's bringing me joy has been my reading recently. And as part of, so my thing that I'm reading right now is The Impusium by Olga Tokarczuk. This is a much different read than the other two that I've read. I read Drive Your Plow. I can never get that right. Drive Your Plow Over My Bones? Something along those lines. It got a fair bit of traction with, I think, the youngish TikTokish booktube talkish crowd, maybe? I don't know. House of Day, House of Night, which was the release from last year. I definitely need to reread that one, because I didn't know what the hell I was reading. There's lots of connections that were not straightforward. And but this one just seems different to me. This one seems to just read like knock around everyday popular kind of writing. And I realized, because I just grabbed this other book by another author who I love, Claire-Louise Bennett's Big Kiss Bye-Bye, because this one also came out recently. And I kept hearing people who are into this author talk about how this was the most easy to read, straightforward. And I found this one to be the hardest to read because it was so straightforward. I like things that you have to not struggle, but that you have to have a noggin to see the connections that are being made, the non-overt connections that are out there, which is why I need to read House of Day, House of Night. And I never realized that her being Claire-Louise Bennett's two previous novels were considered difficult to read. I'm just tooting my own horn here, because they didn't seem difficult whatsoever. I had to read them a couple of times to know what I was reading, but to just read them, maybe that's what they meant. Maybe to actually grasp truly what was being communicated. Because at first, the way they were talking, it just felt like they were just talking about the ease of read, which, again, being a snob that I am, I'm embracing that freaking term. Been told that I've been a snob for the last couple of years because I've been open with some of my ex-coworkers about, my perfumes and my reading habits, and I wear good perfume. I search out good perfume. They're freaking wearing Initio and bullshit Amberwoods, and I've got good taste. And if that makes me a freaking snob, so be it. Just like these authors that I read, this blue cover should. So if anybody knows that this is kind of literary fiction, this house, this Fitzcarraldo, this blue, this Eve Colline blue will point it out. I don't even know why I'm belaboring the whole snob talk, because I'm kind of bored of that too. But I'm excited. So I don't have a job, and I don't have any prospects for a job in the immediate future, which is terrifying and blah, blah, blah. But I just went out and bought a whole bunch of books based on, not recommendations, but people that were talking about these. I've stumbled across a podcast that she put out. I think it might have been 2020. Maybe it was last year or 2 years ago. I don't really know when it was. But so I've talked about her before. I think I may have taken down the videos that I talked about her. Or maybe there's just one up. Or I don't know. But I latched on to this author. And I made comment about, a couple years ago, about how she threw me for a loop when she talked about how writers, no, not even writers, how people who come from working class backgrounds, they don't live their lives in a predictable way. The middle class out there, the upper middle class out there, gets to live their life with a set paradigm that they can just hop on board, this paradigm that they all can, and if they do this, they get this. If they do this, they get that. Whereas working class people, their lives are full of dead ends, and they try something and it goes nowhere, so you have to backtrack and try again. And I thought that was just so profound. And I'm at one of those stages again. I have lost my job after 19 years of working, having a job that paid really well, and now initially I was so panicked because I was like, oh my God, I have to eat ramen and rice and beans the rest of my life, and just flashbacks of being a kid and never having enough money and never being food secure. And so anyway, so I stumbled across a podcast of hers talking about how she was going through this after she had published her first novel, Pond. She was just feeling all discombobulated with her new station in life or whatever. So she did this deep dive where she started reading these working class authors, and she named 3 of them. I probably should go find the link and link it down below. But Anne Quinn, some Danish author, Tove, I don't even know if Tove is the right word, but it's some Danish author. I'll write these things down later. And Annie Ernaux. And she was looking for, people to talk, and she talked about how differently all 3 of them are. And pretty sure I've never read anything by any of those 3. I've got one book of Annie Ernaux that's on my shelf that's waiting to be read. And so what I just did was, based on that whole based on that whole podcast that I watched, and now I'm in this place where, I'm faced with yet another dead end, and I have to figure out my life again. I want to go see what these 3 authors that helped Claire-Louise Bennett, I just spent $100+ on these books. They're now going to come to me, and maybe they'll bring me some comfort, or It's not comfort, because my perfume was giving me the comfort. I just want to... I want clarity to come to my brain as I process all these emotions and thoughts that I'm having about where my life's going to end up. And I find fiction, writing, I should say, doesn't have to be necessarily fiction, to be this guide post for my life. Which is weird, because I didn't really read for 15 years of my life. I didn't read. It's only recently that I started reading more than 3 or 4 books a year. And I don't know, I'm somebody who always wanted to be a writer, so maybe that's what happens here. Is I don't have a job anymore. Could try to be the writer that I always wanted to be. Or not. It doesn't matter. And I could never get myself to actually write, to want to actually sell books. Something embedded in me. American dream is finding something you love and then trying to pursue your living by going after that thing you love until that love is completely destroyed and wrecked. So I never want to tie my financial well-being with something that I love. And that's probably part of my problem, if I'm honest. It's a defense mechanism. I'm not sure if it is caused by growing up in poverty. I don't know. I'm sure I'll have a dream, try to psychoanalyze that one, and hopefully I will. I'm joking. I sometimes record my dreams, but I'm not into psychoanalyzing the dreams themselves. Anyway, I just wanted to reach out and say hi. So hi. Go forth and prosper.